Yeah, blues turnarounds, you gotta know them. The more, the better. Coming right up. So what's up with turnarounds? Well, they're possibly the most important element of learning blues guitar. A turnaround is the end that sends you back to the beginning of a 12-bar blues progression. Turnarounds are essential because they tie everything together. Whether you're playing rhythm or lead, executing a solid turnaround adds style and flow to your playing. But they're also a great way to learn how the guitar works, not only for rhythm, but for soloing and improvising too. And one of the best ways to learn turnarounds is to learn them in typical blues keys. E and A, of course, but today we're going to do it in G. Make sure you stay to the end because I'm going to show you a little trick to that Robert Johnson style turnaround that I played in the beginning. Okay, so here's a typical 12-bar blues in G. We see we've got 3 chords, the G7, which is the 1 chord, the C7, which is the 4, and the D7, which is the 5. And here's the turnaround in bars 11 and 12, where it turns back around and goes back to the start. We've got a G7 and a D7 there. So here's our first turnaround. Let's start simple and go from there. So what's happening here is we're just playing this little double stop here on the G and B strings, and then we're bringing it down chromatically until we get to the open G. That's one way of looking at it, but a broader way of looking at it is thinking of it as a piece of this whole chord where we're only playing the G and B strings and we're bringing that down till we connect with this chord, from this E-shaped chord to this G-shaped chord. And then of course we're going to that D7 at the end. Okay, so in one sense we learned a new turnaround. That's cool, that double stop turnaround. But since we know how it works, moving from that E-shaped chord to the G-shaped chord, we can take a look at a whole new set of other possibilities. In other words, come up with our own. Here are a few ideas. All right, so one idea is instead of moving from the E shape to the G shape, what if we went the other way? What if we went from G to E? So in other words, and then the D7. Yeah, that works. And there are a whole slew of opportunities to use different notes other than the G and B string notes from those chords. Here are just a few of those possibilities. So instead of using the notes from the G and B strings from this chord, why don't we use the D and B strings? And then we've got this. That works great. Or how about using the A and the G? That works great too. So with just that one turnaround and the understanding that it's moving from one chord to another, you can generate dozens of your own turnarounds. And we generated a few just here. But now we want to add a little style and flair into it, and that offers lots of possibilities as well. It's really fun. Here's where it really gets fun. All right, let's start with this one on the D and B strings. And now, instead of just playing both those notes at once, what if we staggered them? Very cool. And if we could play 2 notes, how about playing 3? Let's play that middle open note. Very neat. And now, what if we played the bottom note, then the top note, then the bottom note again? All neat, all just slightly different. But how about a little more flair? How about adding a pull-off into the mix? All right, so this time let's start off with the one on the A and G strings. And let's make it. And now let's pull off on that G string. Really cool. It is just so much fun creating your own turnarounds from these simple ideas and just adding a little flair. Oh, I almost forgot to show the Robert Johnson turnaround that I did in the beginning. That's got its own little trick to it, so let's check that out now. So again, we're going to start with our G7. and head to this other G7. And this time we're going to use the D string and the E string. All right, now if we just go straight forward, it sounds wrong. And it's that E string that's making it sound wrong. So what if we just kept it on that G? We just keep our finger on the 3rd fret there, that G, and we move the others down. That's called a pedal note. G is then a pedal note. Check it out. Voila, the Robert Johnson turnaround. But Billy Gibbons added just a little twist to that Robert Johnson turnaround in his song Jesus Just Left Chicago. It's a cool little trick that I've used many times in gigs, and I show it to you in this video right here. It's a neat trick, so check out this video. I'll see you in that video, and I'll see you on down the road.